You're welcome once again. So let's talk about recalling, which I believe is the most important of this course. How to read to recall, how to read to remember in examination. Or I was saying something about setting your own reading timetable the other time. Most students make the mistake of having a paper on Monday, for instance. They will spend the whole week or weekend to read for that Monday paper. After the Monday paper, they forgot they will have Tuesday paper, they will have Wednesday paper. So they now prepare less for other papers, and the most important paper may even be within those days. So setting a reading timetable 2 weeks, 3 weeks ahead allows you to come in contact with every of those subjects earlier, every of those courses earlier, and to prepare adequately for it at the same time. I recommend read twice, then revise. If you say you read, you don't remember, let me ask you, how many times do you read the content, the course outline, or the handout? I recommend read all through the first time. You read all through once and you want to remember. No, reading all through once familiarizes you with it, even though it's not always practical to all students. But that is what a distinction student would do. Don't forget, you have your goal in mind to be a distinction student. And the way to even be an above average student is to be a distinction student first. So you first read all through the whole handout. Then the second time you are reading making jottings, summarizing, using short codes, short forms to express yourself at the second time. That is the reading. So you have a sheet of paper. I usually use a A4 sheet. Some use a jotter. I prefer A4 because I can fold it and carry it in my pocket anytime. So I just fold it. Okay, let me give you an example. This is a plain sheet, right? This is an A4. So I will usually just fold it. That was how. It's not that I've been to school. So I'll do it like this. In this A4 sheet, I can summarize the whole handout there. Please just get what I'm trying to explain. You can now use your own method. Just have an idea of what I'm talking about. So I have this, then I just jot very tiny. I make it very tiny and I write on it. In fact, I may still put line here and divide it. The way I will write, I'm the only one that can read it. I'll use short form, I'll use abbreviations. I can summarize the whole handout in this thing. Then after the second reading, most of my other reading will be revising this, not the chunk of book, because I have picked out the relevant areas to be covered in this. I may still be checking those handouts, but mainly this is my key point. Do you do that? Before you say, I don't recall, I don't remember, do you go that extra mile? Do you enjoy that kind of hard work? Now, you give yourself pilot questions. Pilot questions after reading. Then the pilot questions are to be answered in writing. The same way you are trying to remember and you are saying rubbish, the same way you will say rubbish in exam hall. And you have to write in exam hall. So write when? Now. At times I put my pilot questions in this same sheet. I may have two of it or just one. I'll put my pilot questions there. So I'll use this page, I'll use this page. I will turn it. I'll use this one inside. I'll use this one outside. I will turn it again and use the boxes. So at times I may open the plain sheet and use ruler to just draw it, and I will partition it. You have to ask yourself the questions and answer them in writing. Also, do the same for past questions. Gather past questions, answer them, and write it down. If you have not been doing that, that is what you should start doing. So, by the time you have jottings full of past questions and the summary of the book of the handout, few minutes, few hours to the exam hall, this is what you'll be reading. You can also read your handout based on so many factors, but this is what you'll be reading most, because by the time you look at it at a glance, you quickly remember everything you wrote there. At a glance, you could remember half of the handout. And read into the examination time. Some students exhaust themselves reading before the exam. When it is 2 hours, 1 hour, 3 hours to the exam, they're already tired. In my own case, I may even sleep. When it is 2 hours from 2 hours to the exam, 1 hour to the exam, till enter the exam hall, I am glancing through, I am recalling, I am remembering, I am speaking to myself. I know that is all the effort I need to do for that course. Once I enter the exam hall, write that course, and I go out, it's done. I know I will pass, but I want to pass well. And that will be my last contact with that course. We should not meet again. So I give it all it takes. And I say, don't fast. Eat in the morning of your exam. Eat. If you focus on, what you saw or what you glanced through few minutes before the exam, the tendency that you will remember in the exam hall is higher. And when you are no longer, even if you are using your handouts, which I don't always advise, make jottings inside those handouts. Be glancing through those jottings, those underlining. I started using underlining jottings when I wanted to become lazy. When I was really serious, which you should do. This is what I use, and it's detailed enough. Short forms, abbreviation, codes. Not even this that social media is everything. You have codes for everything. Short form codes, I will have tiny everything down. Then I'll just be glancing through, reading again. If I need to see a definition that I wrote here and it's not well detailed, and I feel I should go and check the handout, I will open the handout and see and put it back. If you have not been doing these things I mentioned, and you say you don't recall, you don't remember, you are cheating yourself. How do I know about this sheet? From that guy that used to have A's, I used to see it in his hand. I used to see his jottings. That's when I said there is something in this thing. I didn't even ask him. I just went ahead to put it to use on my own. Eat in the morning, I've mentioned that. Studying for hard courses requires hard work. Some courses may be hard to you, may be soft for some people. Tell those people to assist you. You just need to give more effort. Everybody in every department has that course that is hard, that is strong. Just go for help and give it more attention. It doesn't mean you can't pass it. If you cannot pass it at 70, at 80, you'll be able to pass it at 60, at 65. Just give it more time and put in your effort. I hope the things I've said, simple but works. Eating in the morning helps your memory. If you are not jotting, if you are not writing, if you are not asking yourself the questions, the pilot questions that you set for yourself, or the past questions, and writing the answer, forget about recalling. Forget about remembering. But if you do it, it will yield for you. The Lord bless you. So next lecture, I'll talk about how to write exams. There's also a how to write exam, and we'll do one more lecture and wrap it up.